Have you ever wondered why the most violent tornadoes on Earth seem to appear in one specific part of the world? Not Europe, not Asia, not Africa. Instead, they form again and again in a particular stretch of land in the middle of the United States. Every year, the planet records nearly 2,000 tornadoes. But what's truly shocking is that more than half of them happen in just one country. And within that country, most of them appear in a narrow region known as Tornado Alley. This raises a mysterious question. Why here? Why does nature unleash its most violent spinning storms on this exact place? Why do these massive funnels descend from the sky, destroying homes, lifting cars into the air, and sometimes erasing entire neighborhoods within minutes? For the people who live there, tornadoes are not just a natural disaster. They are a terrifying part of life. Sirens suddenly start screaming, the sky turns dark green, the wind begins to roar, and within moments, a spinning monster may appear on the horizon. But the real story behind Tornado Alley is far more fascinating than most people realize. Because the truth is, this region has the perfect ingredients for disaster, a rare combination of geography, weather, and atmospheric forces that exist almost nowhere else on Earth. And once you understand how all these elements collide together, the mystery of why tornadoes strike here begins to unfold. But to understand this strange phenomenon, we first need to go back and explore how tornadoes actually form in the first place. Tornadoes are among the most powerful and unpredictable weather events on the planet. At first glance, they may look like a simple funnel of spinning wind. But behind that terrifying spiral lies a complex chain of atmospheric events that build slowly before exploding into chaos. Most tornadoes are born during powerful thunderstorms. Not ordinary storms with a little rain and thunder, but massive storm systems known as supercells. These supercells are giants in the sky. They stretch for miles, towering high into the atmosphere like enormous spinning towers of clouds. Inside these storms, something unusual begins to happen. Near the ground, warm and moist air starts rising rapidly into the storm. At the same time, colder and drier air moves in from higher altitudes. When these two air masses collide, they create instability in the atmosphere. But that alone isn't enough to produce a tornado. What makes the situation truly dangerous is something called wind shear. Wind shear occurs when winds at different heights move in different directions or speeds. Imagine air near the ground moving one way, while winds high above are racing in another direction. This creates a horizontal spinning motion in the atmosphere, like an invisible rolling tube of air. Normally, this spinning motion stays horizontal and harmless, but inside a powerful thunderstorm, rising warm air can tilt this spinning tube upward. Once that happens, the entire storm begins rotating. Now the supercell becomes a rotating storm system, and inside it the spinning air tightens faster and faster, much like a figure skater pulling their arms inward to spin faster. As the rotation strengthens, a funnel-shaped cloud may begin to stretch downward from the storm. At first, it's only a funnel cloud hanging in the sky, but if that spinning funnel finally touches the ground, it becomes something far more dangerous: a tornado. At its strongest, the winds inside a tornado can reach speeds of nearly 480 kilometers per hour. That's strong enough to rip roofs off houses, uproot massive trees, flip trucks through the air, and turn everyday objects into deadly projectiles. Yet even with all this knowledge about how tornadoes form, scientists were still puzzled for decades by one strange question. If tornadoes can form anywhere with thunderstorms, why do they appear so often in one particular region of the United States? The answer lies in the unique geography of North America. If you look closely at a map of the continent, you'll notice something unusual. The central United States is an enormous flat plain stretching for thousands of kilometers. Unlike many other parts of the world, there are very few mountains blocking the movement of air masses here. And that open landscape allows different types of air from completely different regions to collide directly with each other. From the south comes warm, humid air from the Gulf of Mexico. This air is full of moisture and heat, making it extremely unstable. From the north comes cold and dry air sweeping down from Canada. And from the west, winds cross the Rocky Mountains carrying cooler and drier air from higher altitudes. When these three very different air masses meet over the central plains, they create one of the most unstable weather environments on Earth. Warm air rises rapidly, cold air pushes downward, and strong winds at different heights begin to twist and spin the storm systems. This rare combination turns the region into a natural laboratory for supercell thunderstorms. And once supercells begin forming, tornadoes are never far behind.
But here's the twist most people don't expect. Even though the United States experiences the most tornadoes in the world, not every part of the country is equally affected. There is a specific corridor where these storms appear again and again. This region stretches across states like Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Nebraska. Meteorologists call this area Tornado Alley. Here, the conditions for tornado formation are almost perfect. During spring and early summer, warm air from the Gulf of Mexico moves northward across the plains. At the same time, cold air from Canada pushes south. And high above the ground, powerful jet stream winds race across the sky. These ingredients combine like a recipe for atmospheric chaos. Thunderstorms begin forming rapidly across the region. Some of them grow into enormous supercells, and inside these rotating storms, tornadoes begin to develop. What makes Tornado Alley even more dangerous is how quickly these storms can form. Unlike hurricanes, which can be tracked days in advance over the ocean, tornadoes can appear with very little warning. Sometimes meteorologists have only 10 to 15 minutes to alert people before a tornado touches the ground. Imagine sitting at home on a quiet afternoon when suddenly sirens begin echoing across the town. The sky turns dark, the wind begins to howl, and somewhere in the distance, a spinning funnel begins tearing across the landscape. This terrifying reality has shaped the lives of people living in Tornado Alley for generations. Many homes in the region have storm shelters built underground. Schools regularly conduct tornado drills. Families keep emergency plans ready during storm season, because when a tornado appears, every second matters. But despite all the damage they cause, tornadoes are also one of the most fascinating natural phenomena on Earth. Scientists have spent decades studying them, using advanced radar systems, storm chasers, and weather satellites to understand how they form and how they behave. Yet tornadoes remain incredibly unpredictable. Some storms produce multiple tornadoes at once. Others generate massive wedges of spinning wind nearly 2 kilometers wide. And occasionally, nature produces storms so powerful they become legendary. One of the most powerful tornadoes ever recorded struck Oklahoma in 1999. During this storm, wind speeds inside the tornado reached over 480 kilometers per hour, the highest ever measured on Earth. Entire neighborhoods were flattened, cars were thrown hundreds of meters, and debris from destroyed homes was carried miles away. Yet even with such devastation, the study of tornadoes has helped meteorologists improve warning systems and save lives. Modern radar technology can now detect the rotation inside storms before a tornado even forms. Weather satellites constantly monitor storm development across the continent, and advanced computer models help predict when the atmosphere is becoming dangerous. But despite all these technological advances, Tornado Alley still remains the most active tornado region on the planet, because the unique geography of North America continues to bring together the perfect combination of warm air, cold air, and powerful winds. And when those forces collide in the sky above the plains, the result can be one of nature's most terrifying creations, a spinning column of wind that can appear almost out of nowhere. For the people who live in Tornado Alley, the sound of storm sirens is a reminder that nature's power is never far away, yet it's also a reminder of human resilience. Communities rebuild, families recover, and life continues even after the strongest storms. Because while tornadoes may be unstoppable, knowledge and preparation have made a huge difference. Every year, scientists learn more about these incredible storms, and every new discovery brings us closer to understanding one of the atmosphere's greatest mysteries. So the next time you see footage of a tornado twisting across the plains, remember that it's not just random destruction, it's the result of a rare and powerful meeting of forces in the sky, a combination that exists almost nowhere else on Earth. And that is why again and again, most tornadoes strike here.